I am doing pretty well. Not too bad. So, actually, Steve, I don't think you're. I don't hear your voice. I hear me.
Oh, it did it again. It did it again. Okay, so let's
I
start
also
over.
hear I'm
Burp, burp,
horrible.
burp, 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 burp. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. My name is Steven Dutzman. I'm your host. And I'm your host, as always. This is episode 305. And we're going to get right into it because Nintendo is very, very, very exciting. And they made a bunch of announcements. So, right above me, my good buddy, the man behind the curtain, John Tomlinson. How are you, sir?
Since we have a take two, I have a pun. I'm living in a world of wonder.
We'll talk more about that later. And then up there is the Mistress of Magnificence, otherwise known as Mom. Hi, Linda.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for some adventures.
Yes. Excited to hear all about Nintendo today.
Oh, of course.
Well, yeah,
Because we'll be buying, I'm sure, a bunch of those in the next you know, 6 months or so.
I'm basically sending you a bill today, is what on behalf of Nintendo. So that's what today is. And then last but not least, Jeff Walker, the man from the frozen north. Jeff, how are you?
So we're not very frozen today. We have Canadian.
Oh, you got Canadian stuff going down. Hey,
Canadian smoke coming our way.
Hey, you ready for Money in the Bank on Saturday?
I am. I already told my wife. She goes, the dog has a grooming appointment that morning. I go, I can take him, but I can't pick him up.
Because it's weird because it's in Great Britain, so it's during the day.
Yes.
Which is very weird.
It starts at noon.
Yeah, which is so wild. But I'm excited about it too. My weekend plans suddenly cleared up. So as a result, maybe I'll be watching some Money in the Bank. I would like to see Dominic Mysterio get punched a lot, as will a lot of people. So anyway,
I'm just hoping Logan Paul doesn't win it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I would like anyone but Logan Paul. I would rather Brock Lesnar come back and win it than Logan Paul.
Again, enter himself again.
Yeah, I would like that. Anyway, that's the 30 seconds to 1 minute of wrestling talk. Back to EFG. Linda was about to fall asleep.
No, I'm just gonna sit here and crochet. It's fine. I got this. I'm good.
Hey, be thankful for you old listeners of the EFG show where we had a good 5 minutes of this at the start.
Exactly. We would talk wrestling until people showed up. So, but we're not going to do that because there's too much stuff going on. So let's do some of the housekeeping, everybody. Guys, Amanda wrote a book. We have a magazine. What's exciting about the magazine, number one, the magazine is still a thing. But what's really interesting and exciting is we're getting ready to do it all over again in a couple of weeks. July 22nd and 23rd is EFGCon Summer of 2023. And we're making another magazine. We're going to talk about their results from the Esports Olympics, which were last weekend. And we are going to talk about all the exciting stuff from Summer Game Fest, which there was a lot, and probably talk about some of our misadventures in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, of which we have had many. Because playing Tears of the Kingdom on a bus is hard, guys.
I've finished it already.
All right, so you've had plenty of misadventures.
Real quickly, my misadventure is I learned that flame resistant and heat resistant are not the same thing.
They're not.
Two different things.
They're very different. Very
Learned
different.
that the hard way.
Did you wear fire armor into the desert and then die?
No, I wore heat. I wore heat resistant armor into the volcano and died.
All right. Oh, yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll
Also,
do it,
bomb-
guys.
Bomb, and when you're in a volcano, don't bring out a bomb; they explode.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was,
Oh,
yeah. The one of the bosses I kept on trying to use bombs. And I was just like, why do I keep dying? I'm like, oh, I'm stupid.
Yeah, guys.
That's not how it works.
That's a Breath of the Wild thing. We learned not to use bombs in the volcano spot last time. Did we forget?
I did.
Anyway,
Getting old.
I definitely forgot not to use bombs. It's cool. It turns all your arrows into fire arrows, though. Loving it. Anyway,
That's cool.
that's pretty neat.
so we'll talk all about that stuff in the magazine. Very excited about that. Also, fun fact, we have a D&D live play that is a part of the Engaged Family Gaming content family. We just recorded episode 8 last week. We're going to be recording episode 9 this coming Monday. And here's the whole playlist. I just put that in the Twitch chat. It's very exciting because they leveled up to level 4. And it may or may not be that I forgot that I did not level them when they should have hit a milestone prior. But hey,
That
whatever.
never happened.
Me forget stuff. So yeah, if you like D&D and you want to see some interesting stuff, you can go there. And they're going to be having some adventures in a village this time. And I don't know if they're ready for village life. And I got to practice all my silly accents. Other housekeeping. Actually, that's really it. Let's just get right to the news.
There's a lot of news.
Listen, there's a lot, so I am like full on. For those of you watching in the chat, I would love it if you would throw, if you know any of the spoilers, I'd love to hear your favorite game from the Nintendo Direct this year. But we're just going to go right through it. IGN posted a handy-dandy list of all the things that were announced. And I'm going to start at the bottom because, I don't know, at the end of the article, because the really exciting stuff is at the front. And I want to save that for last with us. So, here we go. We have a sequel to Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 that's coming on to Switch along with other platforms on October 19th. They had to race out ahead of Spider-Man and some other games. What do you like my pun? No? All right, Linda.
I think it came in last place.
Oh wow.
Oof.
Okay.
Oof, harsh.
This is a rough crowd. You know what? Have any of you guys played the original Hot Wheels game?
I
Okay.
bought it for like $20 at like Target one day for the Switch, but then everybody gave it to me for free like a month later. So, but I haven't played it.
So
It got high
played-
marks.
I played
So.
one race when it came as the free game on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
yeah, here's the thing. If you have a Switch, you are cursed with greatness, right? Because you have a cool arcadey, kart racer, which is Mario Kart. But everybody else needs something, right? Like if you only own an Xbox or only own a PlayStation, I feel like this is kind of the answer, as opposed to like all the shenanigans licensed, Nickelodeon, Hello Kitty, My Little Pony, Paw Patrol racers. So I think this is worth keeping an eye on. Who is that?
Mario.
Oh, that's Mario. You're working on the cube again. Okay.
Yeah, it's three-stud Mario.
Next is Manic Mechanics, which is essentially Overcooked, but with cars.
That looks fun.
If you haven't played Overcooked, Overcooked is the fastest way to hate your family and friends, I think, on the planet.
Wife refuses to play with me. She says it's because I yell at her.
Do you yell at her?
I don't think I'm yelling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Are you speaking with excitement?
A little
And
bit of
maybe a
anger.
higher volume?
So, fun fact, I tried to play with the General once.
Oh dear.
We both mutually agreed that it was not a good time. So we didn't. Even though we know objectively it's great and it's good, whatever, but yeah, no, we didn't. And our kids tried to play a few times. The boys, they struggled with it. So this is one of those, it's not coming into our house, but it's certainly pretty cool. I mean, listen, you're making cars and stuff and making like weird submarines. I think the submarines featured in the trailer were poorly timed. But
I'm just glad that this has kind of become a genre now.
yeah,
As I said,
absolutely.
you have Overcooked,
The
even
Moving Out.
Nintendo Moving Out, which I tried a little bit, but no one would play with me, so it was a little bit myself. I'm like, man, this would be great with people.
Yep.
Then even Nintendo came out with that game Crazy Stretchers, which is the same thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I love it's a great genre of party game, so I'm down. Linda, how about this from the board game side? We got an adaptation of Gloomhaven finding its way onto the Switch, along with other consoles. That's on September 18th. And it is, if it's anything like the Steam version, it is a very faithful adaptation of Gloomhaven, which I think is pretty neat.
Wow.
Either of you guys going to play that one?
I want to check that out on Steam.
Yeah.
I got Gloomhaven for my birthday like 3 years ago, and I've never been able to get through. It's just way too much setup. It takes up too much space.
You have to dedicate a day to opening it up and punching it and organizing it. And my understanding is
I have it all organized, but and my wife is like, "There's way too many rules," and so then she wouldn't play with me.
so. It apparently, from what I understand, once you start, it sings. I haven't organized mine yet. I think that's going to be a project for me and the boys this summer, though. Now, here's one that I think is going to quietly take over the world when it comes out, and that's Headbangers Rhythm Royale. Linda, this is the pitch.
Okay.
It's like Fall Guys. You remember Fall Guys with the little bean? All right, so you're pigeons playing mini games, but all the mini games are rhythm based. So it's like music and kind of clap to the beat, weird stuff like that. But you're pigeons as opposed to little bean dudes. I think this is one of those games that will quietly, it's very streamable because it's very cute. It's very silly. And it's a battle royale game, just like Fall Guys. You're starting with a big bunch of people, and then all the little mini games are designed to eliminate people. And some of the costumes that they have in the background on these, pigeons, like a little superhero. We got a samurai. There's a pigeon dressed up like a cat. I'm pretty excited. That is coming out October 31st, which is, I think it's pretty cool. It's coming out on Halloween, but this feels like a great, I feel like it's going to blow up because a lot of folks are like, yeah, man, we got to stream this. We got another Fae Farm trailer, which this is like the fourth time Nintendo has shown this to us. Is anybody gonna play Fae Farm? Anybody?
I feel like just farming sim games are so saturated on the Switch right now.
Yep.
They're like remaking.
Well, the last direct was like 60% farming sim or more. Not this past one, the one before.
And I think this one also had Friends of Mineral Town, or did that already come out?
I don't think it was part of this one, but it's coming out.
And there was already a Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons game that both came out on the same day last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of farming games. That is absolutely
popular
true.
Genre.
Yes, it is. There's another one.
They keep making it.
We'll talk about another one in just a moment. Speaking of another one, this one I'm actually really interested in. It's a game called Palia. It was announced, a couple years ago, and
you're skipping over Penny's Big Breakaway.
I'm skipping it just to talk to the other farm away. Don't worry, we're going to go back to the yo-yo game. Don't worry, I'm not
just making sure.
Linda knows I'm not going to skip a yo-yo game.
Okay.
But Palia is billed as essentially an MMO, but instead of focusing on combat and raids, etc., it has a lot of farming simulator elements to the point where you could just play the game and just build your house and build stuff for other people and, kind of interact with the game that way. I am super interested to see how that works within an MMO setting. because it really does. They're pitching it. Every frame of that trailer was multiple characters. With their names over their head, all the standard issue MMO stuff, all happening at once. So I'm more interested in that one. It's a free to play adventure sim, and their tagline is "Create the life of your dreams." So, I think that's kind of neat. It's
Now,
supposed
is
to
that
be coming
going
out
to
this
be
holiday.
exclusive?
No, it's going to be on PC also.
Okay.
And it might even be on other consoles too. But this is one of those. It's going to come to the Switch. I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too.
We know I love MMOs. And I like the idea of like a different method of progression. So I think that's really interesting. Now, to make Jeff happy, they also announced Penny's Big Breakaway, which is this is the team that made Sonic Mania. They did not make another Sonic game. They made a game called Penny's Big Breakaway, which is a 3D platformer about a girl and a yo-yo. Jeff, this obviously this moved you in some way.
Yeah, I love platforming. Platforming games are my jam, and so just having another one, especially coming from the Sonic Mania, we've said it on here many times, not huge Sonic fans, but seeing what else I can do. I believe this is the first original game this team has made.
That is correct. It is.
Because previously they did Sonic Mania and they made all the Sonic phone ports, I believe.
I think so, yeah. So this is their first original IP. I'm super interested in this. Linda, what I really like, and I think your youngest is going to like this one because of some of the speed running and some of the challenge modes. Because we all know he likes to do extra hard stuff. So this one,
He really does.
I really dig the art style. In fact, let me put the trailer in. Yeah, why it's showing me an ad for. It's showing me an ad for the new Mission Impossible movie. I was not expecting that. To play in front of a weird platformer with a little girl and a yo-yo. But here we go. Although I haven't watched any of the Mission Impossible movies. I feel like I'm probably gonna have to. So anyway,
Well, they're basically Fast and the Furious, but they're just not family.
Man, that's a tough sell because the family part is really important to me. So that is Penny's Big Breakaway. That is coming. Let's see here. They actually didn't give us it's the announcement. We know that that's coming early next year. So that's pretty cool. We got a new trailer for Just Dance. Just Dance is doing Just Dance things. If you want to play Just Dance, you'll be able to play Just Dance on October 24th. Look at that. How cool is that, John? But you will, but it's not going to do anything really different. And that's fine. We got a new Splatfest. Now, here's the question all of us have to decide. Splatoon 3 Splatfest. Vanilla, strawberry, or mint chocolate chip ice cream. Everybody's got to choose one. Tomlinson, go.
Mint chocolate chip.
Linda?
Strawberry.
Jeff?
Oh, I would choose chocolate, but I don't know why that's not even the choice.
Well, I'll explain it in a moment. But pick one.
Well, out of those three, I would choose strawberry.
Great, fair enough. I would choose mint chocolate chip also. The reason is because they did it before, and brown paint just looks like poop.
Ah.
And the vanilla ice cream, do the math. It's a family podcast. So
Can I go on a tangent real quick about vanilla ice cream? Because I kind of have a funny story about vanilla ice cream.
is it appropriate?
It's appropriate.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, my joke was not. So
So maybe this will make people choose vanilla ice cream, but growing up, vanilla ice cream is the only ice cream my parents would buy. And in my head, I thought it was because were poor and that vanilla was a boring flavor, so it was cheap. And then I got my own money, was able to buy my own ice cream and realize, oh, all ice cream in one brand costs the same amount whether you want vanilla or something else.
All right. So now you don't buy vanilla?
Oh.
Because, I mean, the real problem...
Clearly he's going to get chocolate because he said he wanted chocolate.
That's true. That's true. The thing about vanilla is like a good vanilla ice cream, like a real vanilla ice cream is bananas good. Like, it's so good. But the cheap stuff really just tastes plain. And I remember watching a video of a guy being like, how could you insult
get some Blue
vanilla?
Bunny.
Yeah, like, if vanilla is plain. It's not plain. It's like, whatever. But no, so that is the Splatfest. That's in 2 weeks. So June 13th and 14th. And they have 3-way Splatfest now. And it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. I don't know. Jake. I don't know which one my kids picked. I know Jake picked one of them. Next, we got a gameplay trailer for Persona 5 Tactica, which is a Persona 5 Tactics game. Jeff, you are very interested in this one. Tell us why.
I like Persona 5. I love the characters. Fair forewarning, these are rated M games. I assume this one's rated M as well.
You know what? I have to assume that it is, but it's not going to be for realistic depictions of violence.
No, but there is a lot of blood.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those. Any Persona game is one for the grown-ups. That's true.
So, if any of you play Smash Brothers and have done Joker's Final Smash, and it shows the character with stars shooting out of them, the actual game, that's blood.
Yep.
But I just like the characters. I played Persona 5 Strikers. That one was fun. That was a Muso in the Persona 5, a Muso game in the Persona 5 universe. So I'm just ready to go back to those characters and play a tactics game.
So I'm looking through the trailer, and it looks like it's mostly stars now. I don't see any blood, so this might be interesting. I don't know. November 17th is when that one comes out. That's gonna be
it's more like, and it's like a chibi art style.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like a little anime stuff. I was particularly interested in, speaking of role-playing games, Star Ocean: The Second Story R, told in this, shown off. This is a remake of a PlayStation game from 1998, and it's getting a remake.
I actually have that in my closet.
Yeah,
the original.
I mean, so what's really funny about this is, so I was watching this, and my daughter comes up to me, and she's like, Dad, what is it with all these games you like? And having, like, realistic backgrounds, but the characters are all pixel. That's so cringe. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you? Because Octopath Traveler is amazing, but that's kind of what this is, but it's not the Octopath Traveler art style. It's really interesting. I'm actually going to throw the link in the chat to the IGN piece, because it's actually really interesting. Just kind of, it's a unique way of looking at the, kind of expressing that anime feel. I am very excited to play this game, especially now that I have like 6 hours of bus ride time every week. In the announcement that I never ever thought was going to happen, they're bringing all the Batman Arkham games to the Switch.
Really?
That was...
Wow, when Linda says really...
Sorry.
That's what you know.
That was my visceral response, sorry.
Like, it's been so long, finally? Like...
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's kind of cool about this, though. So, you can already play Arkham Asylum, Arkham City on modern consoles. PS5, PS4, all that. But Arkham Knight is really hard to get hold of because I believe it just came out for 360 and PS3.
Okay. So
that's one cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is. Listen, people love them some Batman. I just think this is one of those. What was really interesting is Batman Arkham Asylum is an old freaking game, right?
Yeah.
And what was really interesting is, like, my oldest, who doesn't really like Batman, but loves Metroidvanias. I was like, hey, dude, Batman Arkham Asylum is like regarded as one of the best Metroidvania games ever. And he was like, what? How is that even a thing? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, for real. You're going around the asylum fighting bosses and finding cool new weapons that let you backtrack and unlock new areas. It's a Metroidvania. And he was like, oh, well, I guess I got to play it. And I was like, well, it's going to be on Switch. Let's go. The rest of them just turn into open world action games. But, Arkham Asylum, I think, is something special. It is a little darker. It's set in an asylum. It's dark, whatever. But I think this is one of those opportunities to play really just kind of a classic. With that said, really? They're bringing them now to the Switch?
Yeah. Are those T games, even back in the day?
Yes. Batman Arkham Asylum was a T-rated game. I think Arkham
Hard
Knight...
T.
Yeah, hard T.
RT? Okay.
I think Batman
Capital
Arkham
T.
Knight went to M.
Only because the Metroidvania style,
Oh,
my
you're
youngest
absolutely
loves
right.
that. I'm trying just to check in on the content because
Well,
there's more layers to the rating.
Well, there definitely are, and I suspect when these come out, maybe we'll put some content out about it. But a big piece of it is that it's Batman, right? And Batman content is like hit or miss, right?
It can be really dark and
yeah,
really deep. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it'll be, and I think what's interesting is these really are a darker version of Batman. The first one is all about a cat and mouse game with Batman and the Joker, which we know can produce some pretty dark stuff. But so that's interesting.
Yes, I just looked it up. Arkham Knight does have an M rating, but the other two have T ratings.
I remember when they announced Arkham Knight. I was doing EFG at the time, and when Arkham Knight came out, I remember it getting an M rating being a big deal because the other two were T. I was
kind of
whoa.
like this most recent Final Fantasy for being the first one to get an M rating being a big deal.
Somewhat similar. But this was that was the third game after two. This is like. When I bought Final Fantasy 16, the GameStop guy behind the counter was like, I still can't believe that it's rated M. And I was like, dude, I did a whole podcast episode about how upset I was that they called it rated M. And he's like, you did what? And I was like, I mean, look at me. Do I look like somebody that doesn't have a podcast? And he was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. So, I definitely have podcast face. I got the thick glasses, the beard. I mean, think about it. Speaking of dark,
too much.
I do talk too much. That is facts. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Speaking of dark, gritty, ultra realistic, Sonic Superstars got a new gameplay trailer after its announcement during Summer Game Fest, and it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. That's it. That's all I got. It's coming out this fall. It's got multiplayer. I think multiplayer is the part that actually makes me want to play it the least.
It's one of those games that I don't go out and buy a Sonic game, but this game comes a Game Pass. This game comes a PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Linda. Do your kids have any interest in a Sonic game?
Nope,
that's
the
thing.
Not their preferred genre.
Yeah,
I don't have anything Sonic.
We're gonna talk about another 2D platformer in a little bit that I think is more my speed. And yeah, I mean, I know Sonic fans are eating right now. Like they saw that trailer and like, okay, I'm in. I want to play that, and I am very excited for the Sonic fans. This just didn't do it for me. And honestly, multiplayer Sonic the Hedgehog sounds like my personal hell.
Well, there was also a Sonic Direct a couple days later.
Yeah, didn't they have like a cooler and some other like wild stuff?
There's Lego Sonic DLC coming to the games, and then we announced some more Lego sets.
You heard it from the Lego guy. Thank you for that. Got a new Dragon Quest game, Dragon Quest / Pokemon. It's not actually Pokemon, but it's Dragon Quest, and you're catching the monsters, and you're doing Pokemon-like stuff in the Dragon Quest universe. That sounds great to me. Shout out to Amanda and Mike Footer for Vampire Survivors, which is a game represented by a company they work with, getting to be part of the Nintendo Direct, finally coming to the Nintendo Switch with couch co-op. Linda, I think we found a video game you could play.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that couch co-op's coming
Couch
to
co-op
all
is
consoles.
coming to everything, but what's cool
Yeah.
about this is you could play with the boys, and I
Okay.
think that you guys would like this. This is the hook for Vampire
Okay.
Survivors. Vampire Survivors. It's 8-bit-ish, 8 to 16-bit looking sprite graphics, and you control a dude that you just move around a 2D field. So you're just moving them
Okay.
around, kind of like, it's like asteroids, that kind of stuff. You're just kind of like moving
I
around
think,
in space.
Smash TV was like the
Oh, like Smash
arcade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to Smash TV. I would like to say I don't think Linda knows what Smash TV is.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So
I got the asteroids one though.
So it's like you're just moving around this field, and enemies come from all corners. They kind of stream at you from all corners, right? And they're like typical Castlevania kind of monsters. So there's like the zombies and the skeletons and the evil wizards and bug monsters, whatever, right? The idea is over time, more and more of them show up. So the idea is eventually you would get overwhelmed.
Right.
But what happens is every character automatically shoots an attack based on what weapon they're equipped with. Automatically, you don't have to aim it necessarily. You don't have to push
Okay.
buttons. You're literally just maneuvering about the playing field. Depending on
Sounds
the
as I
weapons,
can handle.
yeah, exactly. You can move around a playing field. So depending on the
handle
weapons
this
you
so far.
pick up, like for example, there's garlic, because it's just horror theme.
Vampires.
Garlic. It puts a shield around you. So as enemies crash into the shield, they die. And you can
Okay.
level, and over time you can like level up the garlic so it does more damage, so it's bigger, whatever. And then there's all sorts of other wacky weapons. Some of them move in the direction that you move. So if you want to like go at some guys, you got to like actually go in a straight line. So you kind of got to aim. But the idea is the maps last up to a certain point. The maximum time that you can survive is 30 minutes. At which point death comes and gets you and kills you. Unless you get broken and kill death. Which is like,
Yeah.
there's some extra
I
stuff.
100%ed it. There's also the like, you could unlock infinity mode after you
Well-
do the 30 minutes and stuff.
Yeah, there's some
That's
other modes,
ridiculous.
there's some challenges, there's some extra stuff, but the idea is it caps the games at 30 minutes. And
Okay.
so the standard mode, you're one dude. But when they added couch co-op, that means all of you are working together. There's a bunch of different characters that start with different weapons. And the runs are always different. So the weapons that you find every time you play, you find a different combination of stuff. So it's not like you're memorizing the level. It's just something new and something different every time. I think that you would appreciate sitting down and farting around with this with your kids, because it's crazy. When the monsters really start streaming at you, like literally the entire screen is full of dudes, and it's just so chaotic. The music is insane. If you like kind of, chiptune kind of stuff, it's very cool. I think that you would actually play this game with your kids and would like it. And so that's August 17th is when it comes to Switch. That's when the multiplayer comes. I will come and play this with you, Linda.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Speaking of spooky things, Luigi's Mansion Dark of the Moon from the 3DS is being remade and brought to the Nintendo Switch, which I think is pretty neat. And they also, alongside that, they teased a Princess Peach game where it appears that she's going to have magical girl transformations. Jeff and Tomlinson, do either of you guys have an opinion on this? Other than I'm obviously going to buy it.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm already gonna buy this, but as long as her powers don't revolve around her emotions.
Yeah, they learned from the last. So, Linda, there was a Princess Peach game on the DS, and Jeff is right. All of her power-ups were about her being sad or angry, and so it was like her emotions were her superpower, and it was like definitely, it was a choice.
Mm.
It was before Twitter. It was.
Yeah, it was
Choices they would not make now, I hope.
choices. Well, I mean, we're gonna find out. It doesn't look like. I mean, well, they showed maybe 15 seconds of gameplay. It looks like she's on a stage acting.
Okay.
And she has a magical girl transformation, and then they switched it. Hi, honey. What's up? Were you just coming to say hi? Do you need something?
No, it's okay.
No. What's
no,
up?
my internet wasn't working, but yours clearly is, so it's my computer.
Okay. I thought I was in trouble for a second, guys. My wife was just checking to make sure that she wanted to make sure my internet was working, and
You were clipping a little bit, but
okay.
it's fine.
Well, me talking was not enough evidence that the internet was working. I think she was concerned that I might have been just talking to myself.
That
We'll
never
find
happens.
out. They didn't tell us anything about this game other than they showed a few seconds. Tomlinson,
Now,
what do you have to say?
if we rewind the tape, when we were watching the final trailer, one of the first trailers from Mario, I said I want a Princess Peach game.
It's true.
Now I get my Princess
It's
Peach
true.
game.
We are. Honestly, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, listen, if it's a 2D, Nintendo's really good at 2D platformers, which we'll talk about again in a moment. We did get the next wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, including a new track, which I'm very excited about. It's in a bathroom, and you're small. And it also includes a bunch of new racers like PD Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek, which is the name of the wizard guy. And honestly, I didn't know that was his name.
Didn't?
No. So here's the thing with me and names. I'm really bad at names.
Just like video games.
I mean, I'm very bad. I think I might be worse at names than I am at video games. Linda, what do you think? Uh-oh.
You know
Linda,
what keeps happening?
did I-
I think it's your mic.
Is it? You know what? No.
Mike
I
keeps
think.
cutting out.
Okay, so Linda, I think I might be worse at names than I am at video games. What's your?
I mean, that's kind of a high bar.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
shots
But,
Sorry, I
fired.
couldn't resist.
yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, fair point. But at the same time, Linda's seen me struggle with names, both fictional and non-fictional. So
I mean, I can't say anything. I'm just as bad.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
So
So
bad.
yeah,
Unless I
didn't-
have the visual.
How long has Kamek been named Kamek? Like forever?
Yeah, since
Oh.
the beginning. It was probably in one of the books.
Wow, I'm kind of
Well,
embarrassed. actually.
I can tell you that we used to have friends that don't live around here anymore. For the longest time, I didn't know. I knew the wife's name. I didn't know the husband's name. I finally learned his name because we decided we were going to play Jackbox, and so he had to put his name in, so it was a visual reminder to me what his name was.
So what'd you call him, buddy?
Don't think I just never said his name to his face.
So I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. It is well known that I am the son of a preacher man, and so that meant I grew up every Sunday after church going down for social hour, and because I was the minister's son, everyone felt the need to talk to me, and I had never had any idea who they were. There are people. I am not joking. My dad's retired now, so I can do this. There are people who I was at the church with him for a decade, who I spoke to literally every Sunday that I did not know their names. But I got so good. I am so good, guys. This is like one of my hidden skills, is talking to people and just getting around the calling them by their name. That it's great. Like if it's like an old man, like I would call him young, I would call him like young man. I would be one of those guys. I'm definitely like a chief, buddy, friend.
Steve's the cool guy at church. He gives everyone nicknames.
Oh, everyone gets a
And
nickname
the craziest thing is I've witnessed this every time we go LARPing.
every
like,
time. Like, hey, and
Every time, pal.
pal. Oh man, my good friend. And it's the only way because I just can't remember everybody's name. And LARP, it's extra
Is that why you
complicated.
give us all nicknames? Because you can't ever remember who we are?
What's your name again?
So
Listen.
nicknames are terms of endearment. It's
Look, man,
fine.
yeah, listen, it's the names I give you guys are code names. We're like GI Joes, you know what I mean? Like they're code names. At LARP, it's extra complicated But you have so Kahi is in the chat, who is also known as Marie, who is someone who actually comes to our things. When I call you buddy, I don't know. I know who. Yes, I do know your name, but you have many names for me. So sometimes it's just because I can't decide.
Yeah, it's worse when they're different characters.
Listen,
or they're wearing different makeup every time. Like,
oh my gosh, it's so complicated for me. I'm so bad. She has like 12. Yeah, I think 12. 12 is like light. All right, so we got the Mario Kart 8 DLC. We got some Pokemon DLC, which, interestingly enough, my sons not all that interested in. I'm sure they're gonna get it and play it, but they were not freaking out about it. Jeff, did you buy Pikmin 1 and 2 on your Switch yet, or are you waiting for the physical version? Or is that a stupid question?
I currently am. I mean, I feel like we had another topic. Trying to decide what games I want to buy because I can't afford them all.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the topic. We're going to talk about that in a moment.
And honestly, I played the original Pikmin back in the day, and it's not my favorite. I really liked 3, but I think they also did a lot of improvements when 3 came out. So I don't know if 1 and 2 is one I really want to go back to and try and play.
Yeah. I am completely skipping out on Pikmin this year. Like, I know there's Pikmin 4, like, great, I'm very excited. I know that Mega Mom, very excited about Pikmin 4. I just have to skip it. To take the name thing to another level, this is how bad I am at them. I called my wife my own name while we were having an argument once.
Shut up, Steven! And she looks at you and goes, that's what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah, pretty much. That's more. We were dating at the time. So this was before we were married, but yeah, I definitely called her my own name during a fight. And
I tried to say something to our toddler, and I got through 2 dogs' names before I got to her name.
Oh man, getting your kids' names wrong is like a rite of passage. It's what
the
you
dogs.
Do. Yeah, it's what you do. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So Thomason, what are you thinking about this Pikmin 4? You gonna play it?
I'm not a big Pigman guy. Like, I don't know.
Linda, do your boys want to play Pikmin?
No, they're not really into the Pikmin stuff.
This is kind of wild because like Pikmin is like the big well, it was the big release of the fall. That's changing. And it's like kind of I know one person who's very excited, and that is Mega Mom. But she's not going to buy enough copies to make up for all of us not being very interested in it. So we'll have to see.
Pikmin is one of those that it might be I will pick this up if there's a dead period, which there is no dead period this fall.
Yes, which we'll get to momentarily. I'm firing through some of these. What about WarioWare Move It, guys? Are we WarioWare guys?
I am a WarioWare fan. This was announcement I was not expecting because we already got our WarioWare Switch game together. Wasn't great. Probably one of my least favorite WarioWare games. One of my favorite WarioWare games is the WarioWare Wii version.
Yeah, well, and that one was based almost entirely on motion controls.
Yeah. So I can't remember what it was called.
I can't remember either, but it was almost entirely based on motion controls, right?
WarioWare Smooth Moves.
There we go.
This is pretty much the spiritual successor to WarioWare Smooth Moves. It's silly. Wario's silly. I think my daughter will really like it. I am looking forward to this because, as I just said, I love the WarioWare series for the most part.
That's coming November 6th of 2023. Linda, WarioWare games are they're like micro game collections where you're racing to, it gives you a stupid thing to do and you have to, and a very little amount of time to do it. So it's like Simon Says in like a really weird, it plays like that in a very weird, like you can't even call them mini games and it uses the
called micro games.
Yeah, micro games. So it uses the Joy-Cons to make you do some wacky stuff. I I'll be interested to
I
see
could
if the
see that
reviews are
being
good.
either. Yeah, I could see that being either you really like it or it's not for you. Like I could
Yes.
see there's
If-
not. It's one or the other.
Yes.
If you have Nintendo Online Expansion Pass, original WarioWare is on the Game Boy Advance games.
Yep. That is true. It is in fact. So the last couple announcements, we got confirmation that October 6th we have a Detective Pikachu 2, which came out of nowhere. Some people are going to be very, very excited about that. Other people are not going to care at all.
Didn't come out of nowhere. They have announced this previously.
Oh yeah. Oh, all right.
It was announced like 2 years ago.
Oh, all right. It felt like it came out of nowhere, but here we go. November 6th or October 6th rather.
I mean, I have the original. I actually have this guy right here.
I have, I've
Yeah.
got the Detective Pikachu amiibo also. We definitely went and got that. I don't know if the boys are excited about that one. We'll have to find out. But happy birthday to me. November 17th is the Super Mario RPG remake. Linda, what if I told you that during the Super Nintendo era, Nintendo and Square teamed up to make a role-playing game where you get to play as Mario, Peach, Bowser, and a Cloud. Not Cloud, but like a Cloud. And a
A
puppet.
cloud.
A Cloud who thinks he's a frog.
Yep, Cloud who thinks he's a frog.
Okay. The fact that the cloud thinks it's a frog is even better.
Yeah.
But that's fascinating.
Yeah, it came. It was released and it's been around, and I thought it was kind of in licensing hell because it's Nintendo and Square who are they're not as cozy as they used to be, and when they showed this remake off, I freaked out. Jeff,
I'm sure.
what about you?
I am super excited. So I've only played Super Mario RPG once. In fact, I didn't play when it originally came out. I played it in college. So way past when Super Nintendo was still a thing.
During your partying years.
My partying years, yeah, I was a big partier. I was such a partier that my roommate said he had this game, one of my best friends, Al, and he spent a whole weekend playing and beat it in a weekend.
It was short, so it'll be interesting to see if they add any content to it. But at the very least, it's very pretty. So the pièce de résistance, the last thing,
Elephant in the room.
the elephant in the room. Yeah, definitely the elephant in the room, which we have to talk about. It's Super Mario Brothers Wonder, a brand new 2D Mario. Fun fact: this is the first brand, and I ran some numbers on this. This is the first brand new 2D Mario since Engaged Family Gaming was a thing.
Wow.
Super Mario Brothers U come out after.
But that was part of the.
Engaged?
So here's what happened though. Super Mario Brothers U was part of the new Super Mario Brothers kind of franchise. So those were all kind of. This is the first like new kind of series, new art style, new.
Oh, okay.
There have been other new Super Mario Brothers games, but Super Mario Brothers Wonder is the first new, new 2D Mario game since EFG was a thing. I'm very excited. It looks very trippy. It comes out October 20th, which, fun fact, is the same day as Spider-Man 2, which
Oh,
we'll talk
boy.
about in a moment.
Yeah.
So, Linda, did your boys see anything about this?
Not really. They have not been watching a lot of those streams. They haven't talked about it because I mentioned the Mario as an elephant, and they were like, "What?" So I knew something before them. It was great.
I'm super excited about that.
I think they're going to be excited about this.
All right, so Jeff and Tom, I mean, the three of us, we're buying this, right? Like, this is a no-brainer for me. I love me some 2D Mario. Are you guys?
Yes.
John, are you a 2D Mario guy? You're challenging our friendship.
I play all Mario. All Mario's ambiguous to me. I play all of it.
All right.
So I'm definitely all in on this. This one, I was like, wow, I really like that art style. I really like what it's doing because like there's water stuff from like Sunshine and stuff like that, and everything looks like it's mixed up and everything. And then the when it faded to black and then showed him wander over and turn into an elephant, I laughed so hard at work, just sitting there at work, watching the stream go. Just like, what just
100%.
happened?
What just happened? No, absolutely. Man, I love it. The idea, the big gimmick here is it's a 2D Mario game. It does 2D Mario things. The big gimmicks, it has multiplayer, which is not uncommon anymore. Daisy is in it, which is her first appearance in a 2D Mario game, which is cool. More people, more characters, more better. I like to think. We don't know how they differentiate them, and I'm interested to see Daisy the elephant. That should be interesting, or Peach the elephant. But the other gimmick is every level has at least one Wonder Seed in it, which is basically an object that when you touch it, it activates a whole bunch of weird stuff in the level. So it might make all of the warp pipes come to life and move, or it might change the enemies, and I'm sure we've only seen a very small amount of this stuff. At the end of the day, it's a 2D Mario game. You go from left to right as fast as you possibly can. Try and find, the true way to play this game is to never stop. I'm very excited to see this get speed run at Summer Games Done Quick, because I love Mario games getting speed run. So I'm excited to play this. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a new art style. I put the trailer in the chat. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want a new Super Mario Brothers game? Like, Super Mario Brothers games are just joy.
And it's 4-player co-op.
And it's got 4-player co-op. So, I struggle with cooperative Super Mario Brothers games, but I'll try it with my boys. But I'm certainly going to play the heck out of this game.
It's just because Steven doesn't like to work together with his family.
It's true.
Wow.
Ouch.
And they're probably
Wow.
better than him at video
Burns
games.
continue. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Wow. Aloe over here.
Wow.
So Steve, when you come over, I got aloe for you. I got the plant.
I'm gonna
right here.
need. Yeah, I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna need some. I'm still gonna be
Send you home
recovering.
with the plant.
Oh my goodness, Jeff is on fire today. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do. Because we got a few minutes left. That was everything from Nintendo. And I think it was clearly a big show. It felt to me, and I'd be interested to hear some thoughts from the panel. It felt to me like this was the last gasp of the Nintendo Switch that we know and love right now, because this is just a whole lot of games, but nothing really big. Like other than Super Mario Brothers. But it feels like the rest of the stuff was just like, let's get everything out so that we can start over, because I feel like we got to be getting ready for a new Mario Kart and a new Smash and, starting to port some of these things to a new Switch. What do you guys think? Am I crazy?
I mean, it's been out for a while, so
6 years.
yeah.
And 7 years is usually the average for a lifespan for a game console. And I mean, just over the internet, a lot of people are seeing that, a new Switch, new Nintendo, don't think they'll just call it the Switch 2. It's very interesting to see what Nintendo will decide to do, because I feel like Nintendo used to have two markets. They had their handheld market and their console market. With the Switch, blending it all into one, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, because I think it's going to be very hard if they try to step back from also being a handheld game system.
The only way, I mean, you're right. They have to. One of the reasons why the Switch has been so successful is that instead of having teams split up and making, 3DS games and Wii U games, they had everybody making Switch games, which was great. And games are only getting more complicated and more expensive to make. So,
and with the number of Switches that sold, it's like over 110 million now. It's creeping up there.
Yeah.
Reason they've been able to sell so much for is you look at your handheld game systems, you had multiple people in your family, you had multiple DSs, multiple 3DSs. So going back, I mean, look at our household. We have two Switches. We have a Switch Lite and a regular Switch.
I don't want to talk about how many Switches we have in this house.
Yeah, but then you look at other consoles. We only have one PS5. There's no reason to get a second PS5.
Yeah.
We have one Xbox Series S. There's no reason to get a second one there.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's absolutely true. I don't want to talk about how many Switches I have in this house, and how close we've come to getting another one. It's frankly irresponsible. All right, we'll find out. I mean, they did have their investor call, and they did make it sound very clearly like, we're not going to see a new Switch for the next year or whatever. But I feel like anytime now they could just say, hey, here's the successor, and man, do I hope it's a Switch 2 or a Super Switch or an Omega Switch or something.
And
I
the
wouldn't be
crazy-
surprised if they keep this name switch. Like they had to switch it off from Wii U because that was not well received. They had to make a big change. But
Yeah.
the Switch is so popular, it wouldn't surprise me if they maintain the name in some shape.
But that's also the issue they had with the Wii U because the Wii
Yeah,
was
that's
so
a
popular.
double-edged sword. Yeah.
True.
So like I mean I wasn't big into video games, but I didn't do the podcast or anything when the Wii U came out. Even with that Wii U, it was confusing. Like, well, is this a new Wii or is this a new system? And
Yep.
so I think that's the issue they would have with.
Right.
News.
They
Well-
need to make it distinctive enough.
I mean, they could just call
The-
they could just call it a Super Switch, or they could call it a Switch 2.
Yeah.
I
Crazy
think they
is-
don't need to put the name of the successor on the second half of the name. It has to start with something different to help push away from the original Switch.
I mean, I don't know. PlayStation 5 sounds pretty good, and I know what I'm getting when I bought that.
yeah.
We'll find out.
But you
Here's-
could play you could play PS4 games on it, so it's
Yeah, you know what's going to
It's
happen
weird.
is we could talk about this for hours, and Nintendo is going to name it Beetlejuice
yep.
the
because
crazy
Nintendo be
thing-
wild like that.
Crazy thing is, and I feel like this happened with any other Nintendo system, we would have heard rumblings of, what's the code name? We haven't even heard a code name for this new system because, Nintendo Switch, everyone knew it as the Nintendo NX. The Wii, I don't remember what Wii U's was, but the Wii was Revolution. GameCube was Dolphin, and you usually hear those, and no one's heard even a rumbling of a code name for this system.
Yeah, nothing yet. Well, you know what? It's gonna be interesting either way. Because we know it's coming. We know Nintendo has never been in a better position. So we will see what they are gonna do. So you know what? We had another topic, but we're gonna actually hold off because we are out. We are at time, and I'm gonna wait because Amanda's gonna be back next time, and we can have a
Yeah.
whole discussion about the fall and all sorts of other stuff. So, guys, guess what? We did it.
Did it.
Yay.
One
Did the
more
thing.
episode in the books. This has been episode 305 of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. I hope
Wow.
you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording. I did, except for the parts where Jeff made fun of me. Those hurt my feelings. I
I'm
was
sorry,
deeply-
Steven. We'll talk. You can bring it up to the HR department.
I will. I'll bring it up to HR. We're gonna get your raise rescinded for being mean to the boss. So, everybody, I hope you have a great week. We'll be back on Monday with another episode of The Coils of Destiny, where they are gonna have fun in a little quaint little village that may or may not be what it seems. And then we'll be
That
back.
never happens.
What? And then they'll
That
be
never
back.
happens in D&D.
And then they'll be back. We will all be back the week after that to talk about a very crowded fall lineup. To talk about we're gonna talk about how we're gonna make sense of it, but we're gonna give some advice to you on how to make sense of it yourself, and what to buy, what to get, what to give as gifts, etc. So, hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon, and until next time, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll talk soon. Bye.